For our viewers, as we are learning through government sources that India-US trade tariff could be finalized within the first week of July, and agriculture remains a key sticking point. As per sources, they are indicating that India has refused to negotiate much on agriculture, particularly, especially these few items like rice, wheat and pulses. And this meet now is scheduled midway, and it is expected to give some amount of relief to American wheat, maize, few dry fruits like cashew and one variety of rice. And particularly on the automobile sector, we are learning that all of this will be opening and giving more relief on some parts and sectors which wouldn't be hurting the Indian economy, which is associated with automobile. So trade deal and these details emerging as far as the India-US trade deal. Remember, US President Donald Trump continues to speak about how there is going to be a lot of trade between India and the United States of America. There have been too much of talk, particularly after those reciprocal tariffs that were slapped by the United States of America against India and the other countries. This was rather historic because so far there were no reciprocal tariffs, and Trump has been rather vocal in suggesting how India taxes it a lot, and that's why on the basis of that there are going to be reciprocal tariffs in connection with what goes out of America. And now what we are learning is agriculture remains a key issue as far as discussion of trade between India and US, and we will get to know what really comes out. Also, a lot of information on the automobile sector. My colleague Pallavi is now joining us. Pallavi, more details, please.
That's right. So we are expecting at least by the first week of July, I'm told by around 4th to 5th of July, when there's going to be a formal announcement as far as the US-India trade deals and tariff is concerned. It's not been an easy road because on one hand, there has been a substantial amount of pressure from America, but naturally. But at the same time, our dilemma is that we want to maintain a good equation with America, but not at the cost of the welfare of our own industry. And the biggest area of concern, Griha, is actually the agriculture sector. Politically, it's an important sector, but even otherwise, economically, the chunk of India's economy is agrarian. So I'm told by my sources that when these negotiations are going on, and Mr. Rajesh Agarwal is the main mediator and negotiator as far as the tariff committee is concerned, our main focus is going to be that there are certain areas of the agrarian sector which are not going to be subject to any kind of a compromise. Certain varieties of rice, for example, wheat, maize, all of that, on that we are not going to be compromising. But where it's non-competitive, where we can afford to give that an elbow of opportunity to America, we are ready to do it. And as you just pointed out, some of the dry fruits like cashews, pistachios, whether it is a particular variety of corn, that's maize, and whether there is one particular variety of rice over there, we are ready to open up our markets to American products.
Also, automobile, Pallavi, we have been discussing this ever since those reciprocal tariffs were slapped against these various countries, including India. And we had seen how Piyush Goyal was America to further license so that we do not get hit the hardest when it is about those reciprocal tariffs. More about that. How will the automobile sector really fare in the country post that?
Frankly speaking, Griha, you're absolutely right. It's a double-edged sword because on one hand, we would want our markets to open up. Tesla, for example, opening their factories over here will, of course, give us more employment. It will help us to earn more and more investment. So we would want to do that. But at the same time, what government sources are saying that this high tariff, especially on the automobiles, can also be seen as a huge window of opportunity for our indigenous automobile sector. It's going to become more and more competitive. It is going to give a reason for our automobile sector to become more competitive and also come up with a state-of-the-art products so as to compete with these American automobiles. But there are certain automobile parts, for example, which America does depend on us for, and we also depend on them. That is where we can expect a middle part, which is going to be suitable both to America as well as to India.
Absolutely, Pallavi. Thank you so much for all of those details. Let's look at what US President Donald Trump had said on this trade deal between India and the US.